Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And Mom just tried to start the podcast on her desk.
Because my computer, which is now stacked up on books, is normally down here, and I can go down here. Anyway.
You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Tooliz for you, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
And I'm CPREDMOR on Ravelry and Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram. And I've posted a couple times this week because we've been walking. Yes, I have an appointment with the cardiologist tomorrow, so I haven't had any Starbucks.
I know there's no cookies. I went looking for un petit sweet. And there's no un petit sweet.
No, they're the regular Oreos.
I know.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Didn't hit my brain. I was in the grocery store this morning. You could have texted me.
I didn't. It is a joyful surprise when I come to my parents' house.
And normally
they are
but
here.
I'm
it's okay.
Anyway, did I tell you about Dr. Rome? Anyway.
Yes, you sent me a text message update about the new endocrinologist, right?
Yes. Dr. Romeo. She's Italian. But apparently has been here a while. She's got an interesting accent. Mm-hmm. And so we're working on my weight. You know, what have I been talking about low these many years? So anyway, we're going to go see the cardiologist tomorrow just for a checkup. And I assume it's going to be like all the other doctor's appointments I've had in the past 2 months, which is doing a great job there, Predmore. Could you lose some weight? But I think I have lost weight since the last time I was at the cardiologist. Not a lot. Let's be frank about this. Maybe 2 pounds. Maybe 3. 3 would be enormous. But anyway.
Enormous?
Enormous. That's right. I was going to say something else. Could you tell?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's what's going on there. The new car is just champion. It's just lovely. And we have now arranged our first car trip.
Mm-hmm. Your first road trip.
Road trip, yes.
It was going to be Mom and I.
Conveyor belts. That's what I was trying to think of at the dinner table.
Oh, yeah.
The Amazon warehouse is going to be full of conveyor belts. Although, so you have to watch out for the robots and the conveyor belts because they'll rip your arms off. It's just amazing.
Good to know.
Yes, good to know. Yes, we're going down to Salem, South Carolina. Someone who watches this knows exactly what we're talking about. Because we talked about it at Christmas. Yes. And, excuse me, getting choked up about this. And it's not that I'm afraid of flying, because we just flew down to St. Thomas, but
I have a new car.
I have a new car. And a road trip in a new car sounds like fun. And there's things that I haven't seen. There's some things I haven't seen in a long time of the Blue Ridge Parkway, which will be fun. I've never been to Asheville, North Carolina. I've never seen the Biltmore, that big mansion. I've never seen Myrtle Beach. So I haven't. I'm going to see if I can put Myrtle Beach and Asheville in
Myrtle Beach maybe on the way back.
Yeah, that's possible. On our list of things to see on this trip, because normally we are flying everywhere. So we have to work out our schedule. We had a very generous offer from a friend of ours to say they would help us work out our itinerary. And I had to smile and explain, we don't...
You can't bomb it.
My husband and I do not do these mega distance driving. Not like Elizabeth and I could do, because I'm more than happy to drive. I love driving. I just love driving, especially when it's not sleeting sideways.
Yeah, so the original plan was for Mom and I to bomb it down there in about 2 days.
Right, we could have done it.
And for Dad and Ben to come down by plane, and then Mom and Dad would drive back.
Leisurely
drive back, and I would fly back.
Dad
we broached this idea to Father, and Father was like,
I want to
go on the road trip.
Which I was flabbergasted. Just knocked my feet out from under me. I went, really? She goes, you didn't include me in the planning. I said, well, we did include you in the planning. Is that...
We planned you to be upset that...
You'd be in the car.
You would be in the car, no. But if you want to do this, sure, let's do it.
So we may... That Mother's Day weekend would start on a Friday. I think we're leaving on the Sunday before.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Well, yeah, because if it were just us, we would have left Thursday.
Yes. Commissioning at the boat club is the following weekend, I believe. Oh. I was asked last night at our St. Patrick's Day party if I would host the reception, I said, I don't think we're going to be back.
Yeah, no.
I said, I honestly, we're going down to South Carolina for Mother's Day, and we're going to leisurely wend our way back. I mean, we don't drive more than 2 to 4 hours a day now. Mm-hmm. Where Richard doesn't drive more than 2 to 4 hours a day, because when he does, his peripheral neuropathy gets upset. So we don't do that. And I'm going to see if I can stay at the Biltmore. We'll see. So we'll have to work out this itinerary so I can find out what night I want to book it. Mm-hmm. Your father says, of course you do.
Of course you do.
Of course you do. So funny, the fellow I sat next to at dinner last night, he has, who makes the Countryman? It's a British car that's actually owned by
Mini?
The Mini Cooper. He has a new Mini Cooper because he loves the fact that it's his around the town car.
Love it.
And I said, well, I got a new car. And he goes, really? What'd you get? I said, I got a plug-in hybrid. He goes, really? And he says, they have a car like mine, too. So I said, I don't feel so bad. Anyway, so we're going to really put the new car, put its metal through the test. Mm-hmm. We will take our plug with us because I know that the hotel in South Jersey has one plug, one outlet. Mm-hmm. And so if we get there early enough, we can park there outlet and plug into the outlet.
Okay.
And then once and mine will take all night to rejuvenate, so whatever. But, that'd be at least another 50 miles we can go. Found out last night that when it runs out of its electrons, it immediately switches to the gas all by itself, very seamlessly.
Good.
So anyway, the pickup seems very good. So I'm happy with it. What's new with you?
Nothing much. We have a friend staying with us for a few weeks due to some house issues, some apartment issues. So we have a house guest and a house cat. And anyone who knows me in real life is like, how the heck are you have a cat? And I am highly medicated. I am taking an Allegra every 24 hours. I take it at night. I take it around 9, 10 o'clock every night. And then I take Sudafed. I'm currently not on the Sudafedrin. I'm on the other one, the phenylphedrin one.
Okay.
The lower level one. Every 4 hours as needed. I haven't needed it since like Thursday. So that's nice.
Because the cat likes to curl up with her.
Yeah, the cat really loves me because I'm allergic to her. And she's really cute, but I'm allergic to her. And she really, really wants cuddles. But again, I'm allergic to her. So, I also, I come in from work. I immediately change into my cat clothes. Because she's allowed in the living room, she's allowed in the common areas, but not our bedroom or my office, which she is very upset about. She feels she should be allowed in all spaces, because she is a cat and she should be allowed in all spaces. She is the most important. So yeah, it's wonderful. It's very fun having a little shadow throughout like the apartment.
A 3-year-old.
Yeah. It's lovely having a little shadow.
2 to 3-year-old, yes. It's very suspicious of the electric
the robot vacuum. Oh yes, we were very proud of her. She did not flap at it.
Attack it. Good.
But she was very suspicious. But yeah, so no, and she has not attacked the yarn. She does not attack the yarn. She did try to get into the yarn, the project bag. Last night. It was very funny. I looked down and her whole head is in the project bag, because it's on the floor by the coffee table like this, and her head is just here. And I go, yes, can I help you? And she looks up at me and I go, no. And she goes, and I kind of ooch her head out and she just goes, and she huffed at me, and she has not gone back in since. So,
and she's only visiting till Saturday.
Yeah, she's only visiting till next week. But yes, the way I am handling this is by being highly medicated and going into the office 5 days a week. Which is honestly, I think, what helped the most, because the first
Clean
3
air.
days were bad.
Yeah. Well, it's
But yeah,
8 hours plus 2.
now
Yeah.
it wasn't, but yeah. So it's just it's good. It's fun having a little shadow.
Especially when you know it's temporary.
Yes. She's just very funny. She's very funny because I come home from work and she thinks that
Playtime.
Well, no, she's like, oh, this is Auntie Liz. If I sound really pathetic, maybe Auntie Liz will feed me. What she hasn't figured out is that Auntie Liz knows the rules and knows when dinner time is. She still will come in. She'll greet me and then yeah. And I'm like, you want to get fed? I'm not feeding you yet. I'm not feeding you yet.
Cookies next week.
Okay, thank you. But it's yeah, we're having a good time. That is the main one. It is very funny because she hasn't really attacked the yarn.
That's good.
It's very funny because she knows she's not allowed on the counter or on the dining table. But she hasn't done it to me yet, but she has looked Ben straight in the eyes and then immediately jumped onto the counter, at which point he goes, nope, and scoops her up and plops her back down. But yeah.
I can do this.
And it's like, no, babes.
Yeah.
Her first few days she was with us, she didn't have enough water in her bowl. And so all of a sudden I hear kitty sounds coming from the kitchen sink.
Oh my God.
She was thirsty. So she went into the sink and was licking up standing water that was in some of the dishes. And all you saw was a kitty butt and tail coming out of the sink. And I was like, no, you're not supposed to be in there, but let's check your water.
And it was low. Okay.
But yeah, so that's what's been up mostly. The big thing about my crafting is I finally seamed the shoulders of my Mondrian.
Gorgeous.
And I picked up one of the sleeves. So I'm working through the sleeve decreases. I did make them a little bit smaller than they're called for.
I think you'll be happier.
But I think it's the same stitch count. But, so I did it by stitch count pickup versus inches.
Okay.
And I think that'll work out better, in the long run. I tried it on. It's cropped, but not too cropped, so it's cute. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to, knit both of the sleeves to the cuff, and then I'm going to seam everything up, and then I'm going to try it on and see if I need to extend the sleeves any.
Okay.
And then I'll do the cuffs in the round. I know it's not written that way, but I think that'll be the best way for me to make sure that it's the right size.
That sounds good.
Because it's really hard. Like right now it's pinned together, so that's how I can try it on. But it's hard to try on pieced garments.
Yes, it is.
In that way, especially when it's partially pieced like this. So, yeah, but I'm really liking it. I really think the colors worked out well. I'm really excited because then obviously I pick up and do a collar here. But yeah, I think it's working out well.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've worked on that. I've worked on a few other things. What have you been working on?
I said I was going to work on 3 different things this week.
Uh-huh.
I worked on one.
Okay.
I worked on the For Sara because I know that there are some people who are working on it with me.
Okay.
So I have done one bust cup.
Okay.
All right. So
this is of your lighter weight one.
Yes, but the instructions pretty much are for any
They're
one
more
of
of a
them.
recipe.
It's a recipe because it depends on your gauge. It depends, and the gauge will then be determined by your yarn. So that's fine. And your size. So larger women, larger girls are going to take more yarn than smaller girls. it's like I'll take more yarn than Sara does. It's like just the way it goes. So anyway, this is my beginning of round here. So what you do, now that you've got your band, your bust band. Now I wanted to say, I do this because I don't like the idea of side bust showing when I'm wearing a...
Mom is not into the side boob.
I'm not. So at my age, no, I don't want to be embarrassed. I mean, the only person who might like it is your father, and I don't need this.
I don't need that thought in my head. Thanks.
Don't
Great.
need this.
Nope.
So you're here for a reason.
I know.
Here. So anyway, so what you do is you take your garment and you divide it in half so that you've got your starting point and your halfway point. For me, I had 210 stitches, so half of that was 105, right? Right. So, and then half of that was 52 and 53. So I said, all right, so I will do 2 bust cups, each 52 stitches wide. So you can tell that I just did the bust cup working back and forth without putting the rest of my, for Sara, on a separate needle. It doesn't bother me and in the least. So what you do is you decrease 2 stitches on each side once you have gone up a half an inch. And what I do is I put stitch markers every time I do a decrease so that on this next bust cup, they will match. That's just a hint that we found very helpful with sleeves and sleeve decreases.
I have them here on my sleeve. You can't see that. On my sleeve decreases, I have them marked also so that I can count how many I've done. So I have my 4 that I need to do for this next set, and I've done 2, and I'm about to put my 3rd one.
So anyway, that's what all of these stitch markers are. So you continue until you're, I said 5 inches above the cup separation. I got to within 4.5 inches and decided this was enough. And I then did triple decreases all the way across that row. And that gave me 8 stitches. And then I did 2 stitch decreases across the next row, and it gave me 4 stitches. This is fingering weight yarn. I looked at it and decided that a 3-stitch I-cord was not going to be as comfortable as the 3-stitch I-cord in my DK weight yarn. So I left it at 4, and at this point, we're going to do the I-cord for your tie. Now, I can tell you that this is quite an enormous tie. Does it need to be this long? Probably not. This is inside out.
It's okay.
It probably could be 2 inches shorter. This tie is 20 inches. So if you want to make your tie only 18 inches, that's fine. So
what you could do is you could put it on a holder for now.
Right.
And then you could pin, and when you finish the second cup, you could pin ribbons and figure out how long you want to make it based on ribbons.
Or if you want to put it aside and put it on a separate stitch holder, you could make it so that only one I-cord comes around and attaches.
Oh, you could
make it
integrated
into a halter. You could do that. I didn't want to do that. I don't particularly care for them. But I'm just saying that is a way that you could alter the halter. That sounds so clever. Anyway, so I stopped at this point and said, we'll start an I-cord. So I'm sure you all know what an I-cord looks like, but it is merely, and I've got 4 stitches. You knit that row. And if you had no other stitches, you would just slide it to the other end of the needle. But since I've got my whole halter on the needle, we're not doing that. We're slipping them back onto the left-hand side needle, and then we're knitting the next row again. And that will pull the stitches together into making a really nice halter. What did I do here?
Don't know. Hold on.
Okay.
Yep.
There, we're back. Okay. So, whoops. So, gather that. And just keep doing that so that you end up with 20 inches or however long you want your I-cord to be. So, basically, for next week, and then, so that'll give you one bust cup. What I will do after I finish my I-cord is I then work on the next 52 stitches, which you can see is from the separation here to this particular stitch marker, because I've already pre-counted it. So my plans for next week are to finish this I-cord, actually finish the second bust cup, so that then we can talk about the body of the halter. So if you want to keep up with me or just continue on, that's where we're at. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. It's funny, when I made this one, Richard looked at it and said, "It's kind of bland, isn't it?" And I'm thinking, what about khaki pants? I mean, come on, guys. Anyway, I'm going to wear it. Not a problem. And then we'll talk about the bust shelf. Maybe next week or the week after, because I've got an idea for that. For those of us who want to have a little bit more support for the girls, instead of just having them covered, I have an idea of how to deal with that. So anyway, what's next with you?
So I have been working on my cross stitch because I've been doing the 100 days project. I've been cross stitching for at least about a half hour. Sometimes it has been a little less than that. Yesterday I didn't actually cross stitch, so I'm not counting that as a day. So we are currently in stasis. But currently it looks like this.
Wow.
I almost have the entire bottom completed. I have like 10 more stitches on this chart to do, and then I'm fully on the last 2 pages, which will be the 2 big pieces here. I moved it to the big hoop because I really enjoy seeing, or I was having to move the little one too much, and I was like, let's just put it on the big one. So it's really nice. I should be able to fit everything within the confines of it. Yeah, and some days it's all I pick up, and some days I don't pick it up at all, like yesterday. But I mean, yesterday I was reading a lot of it and scrolling. This weekend has been odd. I'm changing projects at work, and it's just different.
A little unsettling?
A little bit. I think it's also because I've always been last person standing on a project. I've never been removed early, and removed in a way where they're like, all right, write up all your stuff and hand it over. Not in a like, oh yeah, we're moving you to a new project, but you still have to finish out that one.
Right.
So it's just new. It's different. I'm pleased. I'm excited. But it's different and weird. And so I'm just working through it. But other things.
Oh, so we're getting rid of some of the cafe curtains from the kitchen door.
Okay.
So your father threw them out. And I realized they're the perfect backing for my hand and lock.
Okay.
So, plain cotton cafe curtains. And are you on velvet? Is the one I gave you on velvet? I don't remember. Too? Anyway, my hand and lock is on velvet. And the instructions say, don't stretch the velvet. And you're thinking, well, I'm doing embroidery. It needs to be in a stretcher. What you do is you take the velvet and you hand tack it to the cotton. They said linen, but I think cotton will be fine. So then I'm going to hand baste it to the cotton, and then you frame the cotton so that you're not stretching the velvet. And yet, because you have tacked it all around, it will maintain that tension. So now I can start working on the hand and lock.
Nice.
How much I'll get done, I don't know, because your father actually looked at the some of the gray that I have on the table. He goes, "What are you making with that pretty yarn?" So I really probably should work on that too, because he really seemed to like it, and I did no work on it whatsoever.
What was that? What is that one?
I have to go down and look at it because I don't remember off the top of my head. It was the one I talked about last week that I had done half of the neck.
Oh, okay.
And now I have to do the other half. I didn't do the other half. I worked on my for Sara.
Okay.
Or I just watched YouTube videos, or I read, because the change in weather that's been coming through has been playing a little bit of a havoc with my head.
Same.
Today's
been rough.
Today was very rough. And then on top of that, we went to a St. Patrick's Day party last night, and I don't drink.
No.
But I have food allergies. So I was okay at 6 o'clock this morning when I got up to go to the bathroom. But at 9 o'clock, I was in distress.
Oh, no.
Yes. And I had to go to the grocery store because I didn't have as much shrimp as I thought I had.
I'm sorry.
Well, anyway, I popped at Imitrex and I went to the grocery store, came back, and then took 2 Advil. And then my stomach was upset. So then I went, no, this is not just from the weather. This is something I ate yesterday that I don't know was a problem.
Yeah.
It happens because when you get food in from an establishment and no one has thought to ask, how did you prepare this?
Yeah.
It could be a number of different things. It was corned beef and cabbage, which I ate. Soda bread, yes, but it could have been the lone carrot that I ate.
It could be the veggies.
Could have been the lone carrot. So, and I didn't have any of the cake. The cake was from Steiner's. Mary Lou was hysterical. The cake was from Steiner's. It's going to be lovely. I went, I'm sure it is.
I'm happy for you. It's not safe.
Because it looked delicious. The whipped cream and strawberry icing.
Sounds great, but I can't have it.
And 20 years ago, we would have been chowing down.
Can't have it.
Though we can't have that. I looked at it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they were doing Irish coffees. They were baking Irish coffees with Bailey's. Great. And whipped cream. And I went, oh, God. So your father got a decaf. And I said, I'm just going to go get a cup of coffee. And he said, well, you better run before they start adulterating all of it. So I managed to pick it. Get a cup, get coffee, and the woman's there with the whipped cream. You don't want some whipped cream? I said, no, I'm allergic to dairy.
Yeah. I am allergic to the whipped cream. Stay away.
I know.
Yeah.
They want to be very helpful.
They always are.
And 20 years, no, it would have had to have been 30 years ago. I would have agreed with them. I loved Bailey's.
Yeah.
Until I couldn't have it. So anyway, this morning was rough. It really wasn't until noon that things started to assimilate and get better. But yeah, this week has been a little rough. I expect March to be a little difficult because of the change in weather, the change in barometric pressure.
Yeah.
But other than that, so now I'm going to take this hand and lock and I'm going to baste it. And
nice.
I am going to do that. In fact, I can do it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had other thoughts as well. So with my new project, I'll have a new commute. Which means I will probably get some crafting done on it if I decide not to drive. So
that's what I thought about when you said you're going to have that kind of a commute. It was like, that's perfect.
Perfect reading and knitting time.
Yep.
So I did start a swatch of alternate yarn for my Fittonia because I'm still upset that I'm not going to be able to finish it the way I want it to be. And so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, whether I take it down to short sleeves or if I completely frog it. But this is this one. It looks really pretty.
That is really nice.
So this is an Arroyo, a Malabrigo, I think, Arroyo yarn. I don't have the tag in it anymore. And it's really nice. It's a sport weight. So I am also swatching it for the sweater that I initially proposed for this yarn. So I want it, the swatch for that one is in stockinette, but there's a lace detail in that sweater. And so I want to swatch the lace before I make a full decision.
That's a good idea.
And then, okay, so then I have the test knit that I never did, but I made the beautiful swatch of.
Ooh, that's right.
So I think the thing is I don't remember what I did the swatch in.
The yarn?
No, I know the yarn, but the needles. Because the needles I have that are in the bag with it are size 6s. But I don't remember if the main one was in 6s or if the top one was in 6s. But honestly, they're not much different between here and there.
That looks like...
This looks like 6s?
That looks like a 6 to me. That looks like maybe a 7.
I don't think I did it on 7s. That's the thing.
You may have a 5 in there?
I may have a 5.
Well, then it's a 6 and a 5.
5?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got 9 stitches over 2 at the bottom. And at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10. So that's definitely a 5 at the top.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to go with the 6. I do like how this looks. And since it's what was in the bag, we're just going to go with it. I'm going to do the math. And you know what? We should just start it. Because I want it for this coming season. Because I think it'll be a really beautiful spring. Because it's meant to be short sleeved. I think it'll be a great sweater. And I think it'll be great in in like April, and May, because it's yak.
Well, it may be hot, but
But I think it'll be nice, depending on, like, because I'm also cold more than most people.
All right.
And then I had another thought, because those will be great. Like, you know, that's the stick sweater. It's a short sleeve sweater. It's not going to take up that much room and things. And then I was like,
but wait a minute.
What about if I did something that was modular? So,
like a Penguino?
No, like the Heirloom cardigan.
Oh, beautiful.
So the Heirloom cardigan, I've been thinking about using the Miss Babs 2020 Advent in it. And so I laid out all my colors. Mm-hmm. And I took photos. Mm-hmm. So I laid out all of the colors in order. I laid out, or not, maybe not fully in order, but I laid out all the colors, and I had them so that you could see the greens versus the purples. And then I was like, I was trying to match them. I was trying to be all cute and pick like good colors to go with each other. And then I was like, why don't I just match them like, so the first one would be number 1 with number 25. And then number 2 with number 24. Mm-hmm. And just go from there. So you do get some in the middle that are both teals. So one is a lighter teal, one is a darker teal. I did mess those around a little bit in the bottom row.
You could split them. 1 and 13, 2 and 14.
So yeah, this is my thought of maybe I do one, because...
You know what I'm saying?
So each square takes approximately 12 grams of the main color. Mm-hmm. And then... So also I have to figure out what size I want to make. Mm-hmm. Let's say I make the middle size, which is a 70-inch, like, around.
Good God.
But I also, like, it's supposed to be oversized.
Right.
The smallest size is a 50. So it's either a 50 or a 70. I don't think I want to go with the 79.
No. For myself, I would go with a 50.
Yeah.
But you like oversized more than I do.
I think it's the vibe. I think it also depends on what the vibe of the pattern is and, like, what it's meant, you know, what it's supposed to be. You know, and how it was designed to be.
Well,
so it says it's designed to feel like a quilt draped as a sweater but ease and fit are personal and up to you.
Right.
So the test knitters chose between 15 and 30 inches of ease. So, like, you've got a lot of leeway. The only thing is each size has its different... The number of blocks isn't what changes. It's the size of the blocks.
Right.
So that's why I'm thinking maybe I go with the middle size. So I go with the 70. And we see how big that block turns out with this yarn.
That's a good idea.
Like, I make one and we see how it goes. Because as per the pattern, each block, for the middle block, the background color will take 12 grams and the foreground color will take 6 grams. So you could, because those are 20 gram skein. These are 20 gram skeins.
Mm-hmm.
These guys. So let me see if I can find. I don't know. This is okay. I think 4 and 23. I think these are a set. So if you did one with the foreground and one with the background, and then you switched them, you could have 2 squares from these 2.
Mm-hmm.
So each mini will give you 2. If you switch them for the middle size.
Right.
Probably for all of them, probably, but that's kind of what my thought was. And for the middle size, you need a total of, I think it's a total of 30 squares. Hold on. Hold on. So size 1 does have more blocks. Size 2 and 3 have 27 blocks. So I'd have 24, I think. Yeah, one, if you get 2 out of, yeah, so I'd have 24 blocks.
Right.
So I would need to figure out
something
for 3 blocks. Probably a mishmash of things or working from stash.
Yeah,
or a mishmash of colors. Say, I find one that I have light, I have 12 grams or
something of from another advent calendar.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Because, and I'm thinking I may just wind up 1 or wind up 2 and just start one.
Yeah.
A block and see how it goes from there. Considering this has been sitting for 4 years, I might as well just do it. But I do want to figure out my commute first. But I thought doing something modular might be a good use of that time.
I think that would be great.
Yeah. Especially considering the last time I had a decent commute, I went on a bit of a sock kick. So
yes.
Which, I took that darning class. I really got to do some darning. Because my socks are just, they're popping up holes like no one's business.
Well, then you should know exactly.
I know how to fix it. I just haven't done it. Because also I feel like you should darn clean socks, not dirty socks.
I darn when I see the hole.
Oh, okay.
When I see the hole, I attack it. I happen to like darning.
I know.
So, and I like doing darning that shouts.
The socks are not gonna hide.
I use whatever yarn is floating around. So even if my sock is gray, this would be fine.
Oh yeah, no, on socks I don't care.
Or it could be a fingering weight sock that I'm darning with a DK weight yarn. So I just attack it at that point because I know me. Mm-hmm. The hole is there because I'm wearing the socks, and the hole will be ginormous.
Yeah,
if I wait.
Yeah,
so I don't wait.
Yeah,
I understand your feeling about clean socks, but attack the problem. It's like at dinner time. Mm-hmm. My darling daughter looks down at my sleeve and says, "You've got a drop stitch." Mm-hmm. Do you see my drop stitch?
No.
No.
Good job.
Yes.
I know where it was.
Yes, and there it is in bright red. Because I wove it up, and then I just got that with the yarn that was downstairs. And this is fingering, and that yarn is DK, and it's bright red. And if you do a good job, no one will see it.
Okay.
Where my socks are being darned is the heel, and that's in my shoe.
Mine I am more careful about, at least about weight of yarn, because mine are predominantly at the toe or under the ball of my foot.
Mine are at the back. Mine are at my heel.
No, I think mine are because I wear steel-toed boots for work.
That could be.
And my big toe nail rubs against the sock, which then rubs against the underside of the steel toe of the boot, which then creates a soft spot. So I do think the next time I cast on a pair of socks, I need to get some reinforcing thread.
Yes. What is that really light thing from Rowan?
Either hold a mohair with it, or the reinforcing thread that you have.
Yes.
You have some of the reinforcing thread.
That's pure wool, and I haven't found it's as really good as the mohair. Right.
Okay. But I mean, again, I could run a full experiment on this the next time I want to.
Oh, we could.
Because I do need to knit some of my Advent socks that I haven't done in the last few years. But, I think it's also the fact that for the last few years, I haven't really had a commute where I could knit during it. Which really does cut down on your knitting time. Is that
because
I've been working in Long Island City. So my commute is maybe 15 minutes on the train.
Oh, okay.
So I'm walking, then right now it was like max of 20 minutes on the train if I took the local and it was running slow.
Got it. Okay.
But if I take the express, it was 8 minutes.
Which is no time at all.
No time at all. I could walk out of the door of our apartment, get down to this ground level, go out, get down to the subway, down onto the subway platform, ride the subway, get into site, and up to my desk in 20 minutes. Wow. If everything ran well, I could do it in 20.
Okay,
you've been basting. Look at this.
My hand and lock on.
Yeah.
So what you do is you baste. Ouch! Baste. That's a pin. You baste outside the pattern, and then you lock your frame around this cotton, and I can use now a big frame to lock around this cotton, and that will stretch my velvet. So you don't end up
without stretching the velvet,
without leaving an imprint of the frame on the velvet.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this.
Nice.
This may be as far as we get this week because I do want to work on the poor Sara, but. Anyway, I think I've covered everything I need to cover. Is there anything else you need to cover?
No, I think I've covered everything. I'm trying to knock this sweater out.
Your dad is funny. He goes with me on every errand now.
Of course he does.
Because he gets to be in the new car.
Oh my God.
And part of the reason we didn't come last week is because he had that tire problem with his car. It was between he was mad at
the dealership,
and then we had a blowout.
There was a hole in Dad's tire.
Yes, and it was because it was parked on a lift.
I'm sorry.
We think. And he just was not of the mind frame to trust the part. Meanwhile, you've been there, almost a year?
Over a year.
And it's happened to us once, but it was a big deal. It was blowing about 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So it was cold.
Yeah.
And it went right across from LaGuardia Airport.
Yeah.
If you know anything about New York traffic, you know that it's very difficult to stop. So we were lucky in that I saw the exit for the 94th Street. Immediately got off. I mean, I tore across 3 lanes of traffic safely, but I got there. And then there was a tall building, and I don't know whether it was a nursing home or an office building. I mean, there were some people leaving it, and it was mostly dark, so it could have been a nursing home because this was like 11 o'clock at night. And so, blowing a gale, I had not worn a heavy coat because I thought I was going from one garage and then scooting home, and I'd be able to run inside. So now it's blowing. My coat is blowing open. I'm freezing to death. I have no gloves. And Richard is shouting loudly about do this, do that, and do the other thing. We got the tire changed. Could we have called AAA? We could have called AAA. Except I had no idea where we were.
Your phone.
But in that moment,
I know.
I had no idea where I was.
Yeah.
Like, how do I tell them where I am?
You look up on your phone.
Because I got off the exit and I just found the first parking lot.
That's fine. You just go, you go, okay. And then you'll be highlighted and then you zoom in and you find out what's near you.
But it doesn't say the numbers.
No, but you can say I'm halfway up the block between.
We were flustered.
I know.
Let's see what else. Oh, I can find the parking brake works really well on the new car.
Good.
Because I was trying to ooch forward in the driveway, and your father walked in front of the car. You know him. He pops out of the side door and then walks on the grass right in front of the car, and the car goes. So it will not run into people.
Good.
Yes, that is good. So yeah, we're having fun. Probably a little bit too much togetherness, but that's between you and us. I'm sure he'll
chill.
He'll chill eventually. But he wanted to be in on those road trip.
I know. I offered, hey, I can take one less day off of work.
Yeah. We were gonna have fun.
We were gonna bomb down. It was gonna be great.
It was gonna be great. Anyway.
But yeah.
There'll be one in the future, I'm sure.
Yes. So with that, I think we'll weave in some ends.
And work on your first Sara if you feel like it.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll talk to you all again next week. Bye, y'all.